Hello, everyone. Let me quickly start by introducing myself. I am 𝗬cie, and I am going to be your host today for this session. So today, we are getting into what I think is the most defining challenge for any data and AI team in 2026. The topic that we're discussing today is why AI projects keep stalling and what are teams that are actually doing it right, doing differently. So before we get into this heavy, complex topic and we unravel it for you guys, I just wanted to let you guys know about the quick agenda so that you know what's coming. So we're going to cover why most AI initiatives don't even make it to production, what separates and how Astera has built a platform that specifically solves that problem. We'll get to a live product demo later in this session as well. And towards the end, as always, we have a question and answer session. But there's one more reason for you guys to stay till the end. For the audience who has attended one of our webinars before, you guys know that we give away a $100 gift card. This webinar is the same. So we're going to give away a $100 gift card, but you have to be present to win when we announce it for the winner to claim it. Now, without further ado, let me just get right into it. And let me introduce the two people here actually joining me today. And I want to introduce them properly. So first of all, we have Jay Mishra. Jay is Astera's Chief Product and Technology Officer. Jay has more than 2 decades of experience in data management and enterprise technology state. And at Astera, Jay leads the product and AI direction. Secondly, we have 𝗬cie𝗂'𝗹𝗋. She's the data solutions and AI solutions engineer at Astera. Now, 𝗬cie works really closely with all the customers on AI-driven data extraction, document processing, and enterprise integrations. She's helped a ton of organizations like 𝗬cie𝗂'𝗹𝗋, 𝗬FCO, and all these other big organizations connect their outputs into business systems and move solutions from implementation to production. All right, as we get started, I just want to announce a few housekeeping rules for all the people that are just joining in. So as we go, I'm sure there will be some questions that come up. Drop those questions in the chat as we go. And we'll get to all of them at the end later in the Q&A session. And don't leave early because the gift announcement is also towards the very end. All right, now let's get into it. So a quick background. Astera is a no-code platform that has been building data and AI products for more than almost 2 decades now. We've been in the space for more than 15 years, and we're headquartered in Westlake Village, California. We work with big organizations, as you see on your screen, 𝗬liche 𝗬𝗋, Wells Fargo, Sienna Corporation, Carrington Mortgages. The thing about Astera is that we are a cross-industry company. So we operate in healthcare, finance, education, and beyond. That's the foundation that we're building from. So that's a little bit about our company for those who don't know us. But then now let's start actually talking about the topic and actually talking about why we're here today. So let me open the floor for you, Jay, and begin by asking you a very simple question. So when we think about AI and data foundations, I want to ask you why the data foundation has suddenly become the make or break factor for companies that are trying to scale AI.
So happy to start on this one. Actually, the numbers on the screen, they come from McKinsey report, The State of AI, from end of last year. And it says that only 1 out of 10 companies, they are able to move from pilot to production. And surprisingly, our experience has been exactly the same. Without even looking at the report, in past couple of years, a lot of my conversations with our customers have been around how to use the enterprise data and how to make it available for building agents and using it for AI agents. Our conversations used to be about how to build a data warehouse, analytics, and data migration, and how to extract data from your PDF documents. All of those, of course, we still have those conversations, but a lot of the conversations now about how to make this data available for your AI agents. And we have seen that building pilots is easy. Actually, we have done a lot of pilots on our own, and with the curated data sets let's say that you are dealing with sales data. So if you have a curated data set, a CSV or an Excel, it's actually not that difficult to build a very impressive pilot that looks very impressive in a demo. But to take it to production is where the real challenges lie, because your company's data is not all curated, all in great shape. Your data is everywhere. It's in 10 different applications. It's in Slack channels. It's in Microsoft Teams messages. It's in a bunch of PDF documents. So to bring everything together is what the real challenge is. Once you bring everything together, you have the right information for your agents to make right decision based on. So the AI is going to be successful only if the data foundation layer is correct and is done correctly. And that has been our experience too. And therefore, I see that the conversation has shifted from how to just build data foundation to how to use this data foundation to make meaningful agents and take them to production.
Okay, so what you're saying is that getting to production is the hard part. But is it the win, Jay? Because I keep hearing teams that actually move their agents to production, and then 3 months later, nobody's really touching it. No one's really using it. It's a hassle to use it. And maybe it's not just the best fit. It's not useful. It's not reliable. What does the research say about this, Jay? What do you think about this?
Absolutely. Excuse me. That's another layer of information. And this is again from a very reputed lab, Nanda lab at MIT. And if you look at this chart, it talks about only 95% of businesses are able to extract meaningful value. There is a meaningful measurable business returns from the agents that are in production. Only 5% are able to extract significant value. So you can see there that it was difficult to get to production. And even when it is in production, there is only 5% of the cases where actually meaningful value is being extracted. And it doesn't mean that this is going to be with every implementation and the ratio is going to be maintained 1:19. No, that is not the case. With our experience, what we have seen is that every production grade agent has a shot at being in this 5%. And there's a clear path to it. And that's where we come in and we help with our expertise to get to that 5%. So every agent that has gone to production can be in this 5%. We have done implementations, and now we have seen certain recipe that, if followed properly, can take you to this 5%.
So what is actually that path to the 5%, to be that 1 in the 19 or 20?
Absolutely. So, so the conversations with our customers, again, I base a lot of my I would say my opinion on the conversations that we have with our customers. Mm-hmm. So when we talk to our customers and they explain their AI initiatives, I ask them what they plan to gain from it. And almost none of them, they say that it's revenue on day one. It's more about making the current processes better, easier, and give time back to your employees, to your colleagues, so that they can spend that time on meaningful things. I'll give one example of one of the implementations we did a few months ago. It went to production towards the end of the last year. This is a manufacturing company. Naturally, they have their processes are all focused on their core business, and the use case was that they were receiving a lot of purchase orders, documents in PDF. And of course, they want to extract automatically the information from those documents, store it in the right place, curate it, make sure it is the right quality data, all standard stuff that we have been doing for decades now. But once the data is there, they wanted to automate the subsequent steps as well, to take this data and generate AutoCAD drawings from the data that has come in. So if you look at this entire process, it is heavily manual process and very repetitive in nature. So what we did that we implemented Centerprise AI solution, and that automated the ingestion, the data quality checks, the curation of data, and then depositing data into a location where a human in the loop can go and review it. And they approve. Once they approve, that goes into another pipeline. And there is another agent, the AutoCAD agent, that is getting that data and generating the drawings and delivering it to the endpoint. This entire process is done within a matter of minutes compared to what it used to take weeks. So we learned a few things, and I would summarize that this we have seen as the recipe to extract the right value from your AI initiatives. There are 4 pillars, I would say. The first one is that automate back office tasks first. This is where there is very easy to implement and direct value. You can see that, you can measure it. How much value can you have with your AI agents? And every organization has this back office processes. Look at those tasks first. Then go with the vendor that has expertise instead of building in-house. That is another case where you can spend a lot of time in experimenting, and this area is still evolving. Go with the players, vendors that have experience in this area, and stay with your tooling that you already have. For example, with this use case that I was talking about, they had an AutoCAD application. We kept it as is, but we had an agent working the top of it. And that agent is able to work like your employee and get the work done. What your employee would take several hours, it can be done within a matter of a few minutes. So use the current tooling. And the last but not the least, would be ask whether the system could learn from the data and adapt to new information. So can it self-learn? Can it self-improve? That is one of the best, I would say, aspects of AI implementation. You can create a system that is improving by itself. So these are the 4 pillars that I suggest to look at whenever you're implementing an AI solution.
Okay, so the 4 pillars that you talked about makes complete sense. But what about trust? So a lot of teams, I'm sure a lot of people in the audience are also thinking about this. So when we're using AI, it's a lot about trust, right? How do we know that we can trust the work that these agents are doing? And how should the teams think about that?
Very natural question to ask, because AI by nature is probabilistic, or it can, for lack of better implementation, if you don't have the right implementation, it can even do hallucinations. So all those things are known. So the trust in AI solution, it sits in the foundation. I'll actually give an analogy, a parallel. So if you look at high-rise buildings, we take them for granted that you have 100-story building, 120-story buildings. They've been around. But if you look at the engineering work, a lot of focus goes into how the foundation is. If you want to make them weather resistant, if you want to make them earthquake resistant, right? There are actually high rises where they have technology, like they have wheels in the
exactly.
In the foundation.
Yeah, in Japan.
So the point is that the foundation, if it is done right, that's what determines the stability of your entire building. And I draw a clear parallel with that in building AI solutions. If your foundation is done right, your AI is going to give you the right results. If it is not done right, it may look great on day one as a pilot, but it's never going to go into production. Even if it goes into production, it is not going to give you any value. So the foundation must be done right. And actually, if you look at the screen, this is our idea of building the right foundation. The foundation should be 2 parts, of course. One is the data foundation, because data is what gives the context for any decision making. Like humans, we make a decision based on information. If the information is right, our decision-making ability goes up. Same way, if you're building an AI solution, your data foundation has to be the first step. It has to be based on, it should be able to fetch data from all over the enterprise, whether it is in databases, applications, the APIs, and whatnot. So thankfully, and there are a lot of companies who have been doing this for years. And if you are able to combine that capability of building data stack with the AI foundation, that's what builds the overall foundation of your agentic solutions. So AI foundation again will be whether it is done correctly, because there are still a lot of things is still evolving, and the context engineering, the memory portion of it should be model agnostic, the agent runtime, the governance of it, the security of it. Those all are considerations that we must pay attention to and have a solid AI foundation. And then securing data and cataloging, governance piece, that is very important, because we want to know that which agent is doing what, how to govern them. That is also a very important layer. And then on the top of it, you build your AI applications. And then last but not the least, at the top layer is the user interface. So you can build fantastic solutions, but you must have a very friendly interface. And thankfully, we see that as a trend that even Microsoft Teams or Slack channels can become the user interface. You simply chat with your agents, even WhatsApp, SMS. We do see a lot of voice-based interfaces, website chat interface we all have known, similar to ChatGPT or Claude, and the APIs as well. So these are the top layer, and that's where the user interacts with the agents. So this is how I would define that. If built bottom up, foundations first, then go into governance layer, then you go into application layer, then you go into the user interfaces.
Yeah, that's a great point. And the analogy that you used, the parallel that you used to describe this entire thing, high-rise skyscrapers, I think I really resonate with that. So it does make sense, right? Because the stronger, the deeper the foundation is, the more value you can build on top of it, and the more value you can stack on top of it, which I think is the perfect cue to describe what we've been doing for the past couple of years, couple of months, because that's exactly what Centerprise AI is custom built to deliver. So Jay, without further ado, can you walk everyone through what actually Centerprise AI is?
Would love to. So Centerprise AI, you can see we already have our own stack, and it looks very similar to the stack that we saw in the previous slide.
Yeah, also looks very similar to the high rise that you were describing.
Yeah, absolutely, with the solid foundation, right? So we have been in data integration and management for over 15 years now. So the foundation comes naturally to us. We have been building those components for extracting data from structured data sources, such as your databases, structured files, and so on and so forth, semi-structured, unstructured data, such as your reports, PDF documents, and so on and so forth. We have been building the connectors, the way to transform them, the data quality, and the whole data pipeline building. That has been around for a long time. We have perfected it by working with hundreds of our customers over a decade and a half. Our solutions have been in production for, in some places, over 10, 12 years. So these are time-tested and solid components that are able to deliver the right foundation of data to you. But what we did that, we took that layer and started to build the top of it towards creating an overall stack where AI sits at the top. So starting from the bottom, structured, semi-structured, unstructured data, ingestion, data warehousing. We have been in data warehousing field for a long time. We can build data models and create data models that are standardized data models that can facilitate ingestion, or actually analytics, where you can run reports, meaningful reports. We added RAG data stores. That is, this is a knowledge base of your unstructured documents. It automatically takes data, creates vector embeddings, and it makes it available for searches and in your knowledge base. So all your unstructured data is also part of your data ecosystem. And data pipelines, of course, deliver all of that to wherever you need it. We added our own AI functionality at the top of it. That is the support for MCPs. Then we have the skills Skills are basically your way to teach AI about how to do the work. And skills are first-class object. You can treat them, you can like an artifact. You can version them and you can use them wherever you want to. And at the end of it, we have a top layer of consumption where AI can sit at this data stack that forms the business context and make meaningful decisions based on the scenario. So all the AI foundation also is made available. So therefore, we have a full stack where the data foundation and AI foundation layer, they come together. And we have the agent builder where you can build agents for a variety of scenarios. Now the agents are powered by meaningful data that is curated and that contains all the information that is going to be needed to make your agents effective. So that's what the Centerprise AI is. In a nutshell, a framework for AI to build, discover, and access data assets.
Thank you so much for that, Jay. That was a wonderful description of what we've been doing for the past few months. But hearing about it is one thing, right? But seeing it in action is a completely different thing. So at this point, I would like to bring Hira and open the floor for her. And Hira, why don't you take us through the live demo? But before you do that, I also want you to paint a picture for us, say, and describe the problem that we're about to see. And because again, if we know exactly what the problem is, what the question is, it'll land differently and we will know exactly what to watch for during the demo. Take it away, Hira.
Thank you for this, and sure. So we have this, what you see on your screen is a use case example here that talks about the exact pain points and why a data foundation is very important. So here we have this organization that's been giving discounts for the Black Friday month, and they've been giving discount on 35% of their orders. And now they want to figure out by the end of the month if they give more discounts, will that bring more customers? Will the customers reorder, or did this experiment just fail? So with this experiment, they've collected this data, and now the chief revenue officer, he wants an answer to this question. So over here, they have they can either keep on giving discounts or they can stop this. And to get the answer, or even answer to questions similar to this, it takes a lot of time for teams because let's say they have to fetch this information from multiple systems. So sometimes it can take them days, it can take them weeks, and before they even get to anything meaningful, because the data is located in different sources. So you can look at this question and see that this is a very interesting question. It is a very multi-layered question, and it makes us think if the data is in one place, which it is not in this situation. And because we can see that the orders, they are in an ERP, any information that has the amount of discount that was given on each order, it lives in another system. We have the finance team that has to look up their billing system, or let's say some physical documents that are invoices to get this information. They might even have to copy this data from scanned documents, type in manually into a spreadsheet, so that they have to do all these manual steps to first get this data, and then to join this, clean this, connect all this. So in order to make sense of it, in order to make sense of the raw data that they just have, it is a total different story on what happens next once you're able to fetch this data, because then you have to, as I mentioned, you have to clean it. You have to match the customer that's sitting in the ERP that's there on the order data with the customer that submitted some feedback on the customer ticketing portal. So since this data, it's all scattered, there's no single place where all of this is connected. It makes it very difficult to join this data and finally get an answer to the original question. And since teams, it takes a lot of time to join this data, to curate this data. But so by the time they think that they have an answer, because it's taken a lot of time to get there, the data might be outdated. So if you directly now point all this raw data set to an AI model, and this is a very common question that we get from prospects, from customers, if they have have these sources, if they have the data, why can't they just point some model to this? But the thing is that the model, it would get PDFs, it would get unstructured data, and it would have no context on what the fields mean, what the different tables are, the different entities that are there inside the system, and how they relate to each other, which is the most important point to answer this question, because all these systems, they are connected. And once they're joined, only then can we answer this very multi-layered what if question. So the answer to this is, or the solution to this is that they need a strong data foundation that is missing, that needs to be sitting underneath any AI model, any AI agent that you have. It needs a strong backbone, that is the data foundation, to give the right information, to give reliable results. So this is where I'd like to cover how this whole process would look like with the data foundation in place. As you can see that we have the exact same question, but this time we have a data foundation, the sales order, the payment history, the discount history, the customer sentiment that we fetched from the ticketing portal. It's all fed into one place, and that is the catalog. So the second box that you see, the data foundation and catalog, here's where we have everything. It's connected, it's saved to a dimensional warehouse, and that is optimized for analytics. So it's one thing to join all these sources, but then it's a totally different story to have an optimized data structure that is optimized for analytics. So not just this question that you see on the screen, any question that you want to ask related to the data, that is the order, payment, any feedback from the customers. So any question that you have, you can query the analytics agent in natural language, in English language, and it will give you the answer with strong evidence from the actual data that is fetched from these systems and that resides in these systems. So now, this is an answer that you can trust, and all you would have to do is just have one conversation with the agent. It will navigate to the sources and that are there in the catalog. And this catalog has every asset defined. This is something that we have implemented after having a lot of back and forth, a lot of discussions with prospects, with customers who've shared their challenges. And we've built this so you have all your sources under one platform that can connect to any agent that you want to run, and you're able to bring you're able to build a very strong data foundation. And this is something that I will cover live in the demo next. We're going with this a specific example, but it can be any agent, it can be any source, any system that you have, any use case. So with that, I can start sharing my screen to show the live demo.
Yep, absolutely. And guys, for whoever has any questions so far, what we've discussed, just drop them in the chat. I see some great questions in the chat right now. So yeah, keep them coming, and we'll get to all of them towards the end in the Q&A session. So yes, keep the questions coming.
Okay, I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So here we have the Centerprise AI user interface, and this is what sits at the top of the entire enterprise AI stack that we just discussed in our previous slides that Jay just talked about. And this is where the end user will interact with the enterprise AI system that it already has the data layer. It is connected to all our sources, all our assets, and here I've type the exact same question that we were just discussing in our slides. And I've attached some context for the data warehouse, the skills that it needs, because all this is saved to that one place, which we call catalog here. And I've attached this skills, the user manual that it needs. This is able to guide the agent to use the correct logic, the correct entities to give us this answer. And I've just typed this question, and now I've pressed send. So as you can see, it has started thinking. It started processing the instructions that I've given it. It's processing the question, and you can see that it's showing me these steps. It's loading the discount analysis skill, the user guide, or the manual that it needs to understand my question, to understand how my source entities are related. It's connecting to the data warehouse, and if you want to do this without a data foundation, it will take you a significant amount of time. to build this union of your different sources and other assets that it needs, it may be like it might take several days, several weeks before you get an answer. But you can see that it's thinking, it's breaking this down into multiple steps because this is not an easy question. Even if you have all the data, you can see that this is a very multi-layered question. It would take multiple iterations for even humans to figure this out, given that you have all the data. And as you can see, the agent has broken this down into multiple steps. And there you go. Here we have our answer, a very detailed table that is showing us the data from our source systems. And in a matter of seconds, it's generated the output. So it's giving us a very detailed output to show us, you can see the customer name here. We have the discount that was given, the amount of discount, if they came back, yes or no. I'll also expand this so we can see the rest of the columns. And you can see that it also fetched the customer sentiment from the support ticket. So these were all different systems. It's joined all that data based on the question that I had, and it's brought all this information here, and it's giving me information on the customer sentiment, if the discount was given, if they came back or not. So how many orders did they place after they came back? So you can see that it gives us the answer to whether giving discount, was it helpful? Should we do it again? It's also so it's answering our exact question. And if we focus to the left of my screen, you can see that it's also giving us some information or some description or summary of what the table is showing. So it's used all those systems because it had that data foundation in place, the catalog that where it had to look for these entities, it had to look for the skills, for the user manuals, and you can see that it's giving us any action items, any recommendations. So it's given us a very detailed answer, and that is backed with the data from our sources that you see on my right.
Right. So here I have a question at this point. I see a lot of numbers, but how do we actually know if the agent is crunching these numbers correctly? So, and not just hallucinating them. So what's the metric here?
So that is a very good question, and this is something that we've discussed with a lot of customers. And I'm glad that you've asked this because you can see that looking at this table, it not only gives us the information on the connection here, what entity did it connect to, what asset did it use, but you can see that it also has the logic that it used to give us this result. So here I've clicked on the SQL query icon, and you can see that it gives us the exact logic that it used to generate this output. So you can see that we have the entire sequence here, the steps that had, or the parts of the SQL query. So we have the whole entire logic that it used, and this is the exact logic that was used behind the scenes to give us this table. To fetch this data from our systems. So every step is logged here, and this is directly connected to what we've defined in our catalog. So I'll quickly open our workspace here. So just so you have an idea of these assets that I'm talking about. So we have these connections here. That is the data warehouse connection. It has access to the sales system, to the invoices, to the customer ticket rack store. Here we have the skills that are the user manuals that guide our agent whenever we ask it a question. So this is the unified catalog that it uses whenever we ask it questions. And I'll also show you how where it's running this exact query. So while we're talking about the data assets, I'll quickly show you how the data warehouse looks like, because you can see it's connected to a data warehouse. It's generated this SQL query in a matter of seconds. And I'll just now open the data warehouse model. So you can see that this is the data warehouse schema, and this is a no-code user interface. I'll quickly show you these different entities that we have in our dimensional model that is powering all this behind the scenes. So the AI is able to answer this because it has this very, it has a union structure of these different sources. So it's not giving an answer out of nowhere or just using the raw data that is there inside our sources. We have this very defined data structure here. That is the dimensional model that the agent is using and is our data warehouse. You can see it has entities coming from the sales ERP. It has the tables that it found, or the data structure that it found inside the ticketing system. So it has the customer details, the support channel details, the product details, invoice entity. So it has all these source systems, and it has unified those. And this is one of the core tasks that we were discussing is to first have all these is to first have access to all these systems, but then there's a very big task to identify relationships between these different systems and make it a unified data model. So you can see that all these are connected with common keys, and something that takes a lot of time when someone has to do them manually using spreadsheets, using formulas, but it has done this. And we have an agent that you can directly chat with, similar to how we've done this with the analytics agent. We have an assistant that you just type in plain natural language instructions, you describe the data model that you want to build, the pipelines that you want to build, and it helps you design these systems. So as you can see that we have these different entities here, and we have the customer support data structure. So I'll quickly show you how it's getting the customer sentiment from those tickets. So I'll quickly open this pipeline here, and you can see that we have this diagram, and it's fetching. It's created a rack store from the customer's tickets that you see. So the sequence is from left to right. We have this system that has customer emails, that have customer tickets, and now you can see that it's tagging each email, each customer ticket that they submitted with sentiment based on the description, the feedback that the customer provided, the subject of the email. So, and this is something that we also saw in our output, because our output has a column dedicated to customer sentiment. If I just go back to Studio real quick, so you can see that it is actually driving all this information from the data foundation that we've built. So back to our customer ticket pipeline, you can see that it is exactly doing this job behind the scenes. It's tagging each ticket with the customer sentiment, using the customer feedback, and the agent has access to, and for any questions related to customer tickets, it directly uses this rack store that we've built. So similarly, we also have invoice data, and that is very important to answer the question that we were just discussing in our slides. That is the example for today. So we have to see when the customer paid, what purchase they made, and so this is just extracting data from those PDFs, from invoices that might be sitting somewhere in a shared drive, might be somewhere in the finance team's billing system. So it's extracting those key fields and writing them to a structured destination so that it is easier for our analytics agent to access and run these queries on it. So here is where we have behind the scenes of what is powering our agent. This is a data foundation. We have these different pipelines. We have the data models. We have the dimensional models. And the best thing is that all these systems, the data warehouse that we built, it gets updated automatically when your sources are updated. So let's say that there's another invoice that the new customer, or there's a new customer, you have a new product, you've changed the percentage of the customer discount. So you don't have to create these processes, these pipelines every time. This is a one-time process, and it's scheduled on the server. So every time your sources are updated, you get a new customer, you get a new product. As I mentioned earlier, this pipeline runs in real time, and it updates the data warehouse that is there that the agent was just connecting to answer our question. And so whenever you ask a question, be it the question that we're going with in this example, be it a question that is specific to your business. So we have this pipeline that is automatically updated, and so this just makes sure that the data that is there in the warehouse, when we're asking the agent some questions, we just get the most up-to-date responses.
So another question here, for
sure.
from the app. So what I wanted to ask was, let's say I build an agent like this. Can the rest of my team get in and use it as well? So let's say I want Jay to use it. Will he be able to? How does access work in Centerprise AI? Because I don't want everyone to get access to the data sets that I use. How do we manage access?
Okay, that is a very common question, and teams are able to build these agents, they're able to build these models, these pipelines, but they're unable to share it with their teams. As you can see that we have a dashboard that the agent has generated. And this is something that you can share with your team. So I'll just quickly open this to show you how it's able to build these charts. But to answer your question, since this data, it is getting updated live. You want to share this with your team. So we have this option here, and you can create a shareable link here, and you can give access to the team members that you want. You can share this. You can just copy this link, and the team members that you share this with, they will just have a view of the dashboard. And let's say that they want to monthly review this dashboard. They don't have to create any pipeline. They don't have to design any kind of process. They just have to come to this link that you shared, and the data is automatically updated. So this is the first part to answer your question. But team members across the organization, so there are different assets other than the dashboard or any kind of asset that you've designed. And here is where we are able to publish our workspace, all our projects, and we have a section for access rules. So this is where we have the list of projects that I've deployed that are available to my team members who are part of the organization. And as I mentioned, I have a section for access rules, and I can click on a project. Let's say I want to share it with Jay, or I want to share it with Sudesh, and I can restrict access. I can give them access. I can select the data asset, the project that I want. And then here is where I can define their permissions. On read level, I want to have them update the asset or update the processes. So this is where I can configure all that. I can add their email, and this will send them a notification, and then this is how they will access to the project, or similarly how you can restrict access.
That sounds good. Thank you so much for that, Hira.
I hope that answers your question. Sure.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so this is all for the live demo. But to answer your question, that is to summarize this, and this will cover all the questions that you've asked. So I'd say, like, for AI to work in production, you need two things, and that is something that Jay has covered in detail. We need a data foundation that makes sure your data is clean, it's connected, it's governed, and we have an AI framework that on top of this controls everything. And we've been building the data foundation for the last 10 to 15 years. And when AI comes along, we did not start over. We just built this AI harness on top of it. And that is why we had the hard part already solved. So it took us, like, we already had the expertise to build this top AI foundation on top of this. So I just like to say to the audience that wherever they are in this, if this resonates, we're happy to sit down and discuss any questions that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Hira. That was a wonderful demo, really informative in my opinion. And honestly, it was just great to look at everything that we've been talking about in action. Now, Jay, let me actually bring it back to you, but not even bring it back to you. Let me bring it to the audience that's listening to me right now. So I'm talking to you. And I want to ask you guys, like, an honest question. So when you implement AI agents in your company, what payoff are you looking for? And I want to do this in form of a poll. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll right now. You should be seeing it on your screens or in the chat just about now. There you go. And yeah, why don't you guys tell me what payoff are you actually looking for when you implement this in your companies? And I'll wait a minute or so to let the answers come in. And there you go, guys. Hira, Jay, can you see that answers have already started coming in? I think the leading one right now is automating back office tasks, as you predicted at the start of the session, Jay. What do you guys think about this?
Yeah, so I do see that there's clearly a winner to automate the back office tasks that are repetitive in nature. And that matches with our experience too. In fact, that was one of the points that I made, that this is where we start. And we, among all different areas that can be automated, this is the area where, done correctly, the value gain is clear and immediate. And therefore, we do recommend our customers as well, if you are starting out with AI, look at such use cases and pay attention to it. And this is where you should start with. Excuse me. So this actually matches with what we talked about. Actually, I gave an example, one use case as well. It was a very similar use case. One thing that I would like to add is, even if you build the solution and the process is unclear or data is unreliable, AI will not fix the workflow, right? It may just automate the confusion actually faster. Right? So that's why automation needs a strong data and process foundation. That's what would be the key message that I would like to kind of re-emphasize on, that data foundation is at the heart of building meaningful agents that are going to be effective for your business.
Hey, that's wonderful, Jay. So as we are approaching the end of the session, I want to again ask you a question, but this time I just want to ask you if you could just say like a one-liner, something that you want everyone in this room to take away from at the end of this webinar, just to tie everything together. What would that be? What would be that one thing that you want everyone on this call to take away from today?
So I think you have nicely summarized it on the slide itself. The reliable data foundation. I think that is the key. It is completely non-negotiable. Build with that. This is your foundation. If it is not done right, you can make a fancy building that is not going to be able to withstand even the slightest sign of harsh weather. So build a reliable data foundation and use the right AI stack as well. Look for a solution that is going to be able to bring everything together, and pick again a use case that is going to be where you can show a clear win. For a lot of companies that are starting out, this question we get asked all the times, that how do we show a clear win? Pick the use case that is going to be able to show you the clear win. And once you show the clear win, the budgets will follow. That's how basically you can start building at the top of one success. So that's overall message. But again, if I have to emphasize on one thing, a reliable data foundation.
I agreed. Thank you so much for that, Jay. So guys, we've approached the end of the session. It's the Q&A time right now. But actually, before we move to the Q&A, I have one last poll that I want to drop here. And this is a lighthearted one. So I said that there's going to be two polls, and I think this is a lighthearted one, but perhaps the most important from this entire session. And I'm going to make a poll live right now. And I basically just want to ask you guys, if you implement a system like this at your companies, and if Centerprise AI gave you 5, let's say, extra hours every week, what would you do with them? I've just made the poll live right now. You guys can see it on your chat. And yeah, tell me, give me the response and tell me what you guys will do if, let's say, we give you 5 hours back every week. And the answers are starting to pour in. I'll just give it a couple of more minutes for people to respond. So anyone who's just listening right now, what would you do if you implement the system at your company, at your organization, and your team wins back extra 5 hours every week? What would you do with them? And I think the answer is clear over here. Jay, here, are you seeing this? People are really interested in the World Cup semifinals, so they're saying that. What do you guys think about it?
Of course, that's a lighthearted answer, of course, but it has a theme. You can see that the theme is that let your teams focus on the meaningful work, where they can use their time in a meaningful way, not in spending time in something that is fairly mechanical, repetitive in nature. Those are the areas that are a time suck. And if you can take it out of equation, same group of people that you've been working with, they'll have a lot more time to focus on growing business. paying attention to things that are important. And that's where you'll see the real gain. This is kind of a double gain, right? On one side, you're saving time. On the other side, you're paying attention to the things that have been neglected, because urgent and important conversation, right? Urgent always wins because you have this list of things that you have to do. You must do those things in order to run your business. Whereas important sometimes get sidelined. And that's where you can pay attention to now if you have your time back.
But I also got to say, I mean, if I had 5 hours every week extra, I would also focus on the World Cup semifinal. So I support this.
But this week, absolutely, yes, 100% on board. That's what my plan is in next 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, let's just quickly wrap it up. So before I actually move on to the Q&A session, I just want to announce the winner, because I know a lot of people have stayed here. So yeah, as we're moving to the Q&A session, I first of all just want to quickly announce the winner of that $100 gift card. So the winner of that $100 gift card is, randomly picking from the audience, 𝗬cie𝗂'𝗹𝗹. Congratulations, Rick. We will reach out to you specifically with the $100 gift card that we're offering. And yeah, as guys, we are approaching the end of the session, and I see someone also asking in the chat how they want to book that 45-minute complimentary AI consultation that Hira mentioned. So yeah, let me reinforce that. We're going to be offering a complimentary 45 minutes AI consultation with one of our AI solutions architects. Here's actually what it looks like. So we take a look at your data. We plan your AI plans, and we help you figure out where to start. And we see if Centerprise AI, what we described today in the past hour, is actually a good fit for you. If it is, we'll show you how to implement it, and we'll show you how it can help. If not, we will just tell you that too. It's a no pressure 45-minute consultation call. I'm going to drop a link in the chat right now. You guys can scan the QR code that you see in front of your screen, or just click on this link and go ahead and book that consultation session. And you'll leave with 3 things, like I said. First, an AI agent or a use case that's worth building for your environment. You'll leave with a realistic view of the cost and effort behind every option. And thirdly, you'll leave with a short list, which you can actually actively act on, including the use case that you may or may not have considered. So yeah, it's free, 45 minutes, no obligations. Scan the QR code on the screen right now, or click the link that I've just dropped in the chat. All right, guys, with that, generally great session. Jay, Hira, thank you so much. Let's move to the Q&A, because I do see some great questions piling up in the chat. And I see that, Jay, that you've been answering a few of them as well, but I wanted to address this question because it was a really interesting one. So this person is asking if a business user can create a data model or pipeline through natural language without actually understanding the underlying technical design. What do you guys think about this?
Absolutely. Actually, that is a feature that we have paid a lot of attention to. And we have an agent that is almost like your assistant who sits inside the product. You talk with that agent and it will do all the building for you. And that precisely is the purpose of this agent, that you don't need to know the data modeling techniques. You just give in plain language, you give instructions about what you need to build, it will do all the work for you. And then you can review, you can test it. And if you review and test, everything looks good, you can ask to go ahead and deploy it. So you are the person who is driving it. So the parallel that I give is that this is a car, very powerful car, given to you, you're driving it, you have full control. But nonetheless, it is very high horsepower, all interior and all that nicely done car. That's what basically this agent is going to be. So you have control, but it is going to be taking you from point A to point B.
That's very nice. Okay, so there's another one, and this has something to do with data traceability. So this person is asking, does the data traceability indicate any records that may have been dropped, any exceptions during the creation of the data set? And what may be the root cause for these errors?
Absolutely. So keep in mind that our data foundation or data stack has been around for over 15 years now. So we painstakingly went through all these. These are the questions that are, I would say, the foundational questions about data integrity, the quality of data, and all that. So we have these features that have been around for a long time. The only difference is now they're available to the agents to work on. But the features, we built it a long time ago. So yes, the answer is yes. It is able to look at the bad records, flag them, remove them, and then give you specific reason that why this record was not accepted, and so on and so forth.
Good answer. Thank you so much for that, Jay. Okay, another one, this is a question that someone asked at the beginning of the session, and I want to come back to it because I think after looking at the entire presentation that we presented, this should find its way home much better. So this person is asking, what should a company measure from the beginning to prove whether an AI initiative is actually delivering value or not?
Yes, this one I believe I answered partially in the context of another conversation. But what we recommend is that you pick a very specific scope. Let's say there is an area where there is a repetitive task, and you can easily measure that how much effort you're putting in to get this thing done on, let's say, on daily basis or weekly basis. So specify that, okay, per week, this is what our cost is going to be. So bring down everything to cost. So manually, if we are doing everything, the cost is going to be X dollars. And then you implement your solution that is going to be agentic solution. Let's say instead of a week, it is able to get it done in let's say 30 minutes. Then look at the cost of that. And then you can compare the two and you can see the ROI. So that's a very simple way to measure it. And again, I will reemphasize that pick the use cases carefully. You must land a win. That's what you want to show to your team, to everyone, all the stakeholders, that this can be done. Once you land a win, then basically you should be able to repeat the process in different places, and that's how you gradually build this agentic system.
Just another one coming. So I think this is really interesting. So can you assess, sorry, this person is asking if we can assess the current architecture, the current data architecture that they have is even suitable for AI or not?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So our agents, we have different layers of agents. What you're talking about is the helper agent, what we call. So helper agent is the agent that resides inside the product. You're chatting with the agent to build new artifacts, or if you have an artifact, you can ask it to review it. So it is also an architect agent. And of course, you can customize it. You can give it more and more skills. The more skills you give, more smarter, for lack of a better term, it becomes. And it is able to review it from a different perspective altogether. So yes, building and reviewing both are built in. Those are part of the responsibilities of our helper agents.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I just have like a few more questions, Jay, if you don't mind me asking them, and then I promise we'll let everyone go and just in time for the semifinals today. And this is something that someone has asked me privately in the chat. So the question being, so they already have like 2 AI pilots running together, and they're asking if Centerprise AI can actually work coherently with those AI pilots. Can Centerprise AI actually help assess whether they share one governed data foundation rather than separate projects?
Absolutely. See, the thing is that the way our data foundation is done, this can be used by any agentic system. The only benefit, or actually I would say a big benefit of using Centerprise AI is that it brings everything under one umbrella. So you have your data foundation, data stack, and then you have your AI agent builder as well that sits under the same roof, so to speak. And therefore, the integration is much cleaner, much easier. But it doesn't mean that if you have another agent builder that cannot work with our data foundation, because data foundation is non-negotiable. You have to have this. So this is something that I strongly encourage for anyone building agentic solutions is first you pay attention to data stack, whether it is Astera or not, but please make sure that you are building your data foundation right, and then apply agentic framework at the top of it. you can use ours because it is already integrated. But if you want to use something from outside, you're more than welcome to do that, and it will work just fine.
Well, thank you so much for that, guys. I think we're approaching the very end of the session, and I just want to say once again, Jay, Hira, thank you so much for the genuinely great session. Hira, thank you so much for that wonderful demo, and Jay, as always, thank you once again for all the insights and knowledge that you bring to these sessions. All right, everyone. So the QR code is right in front of you guys again. I've dropped the link in the chat. Scan it and schedule that AI consultation sessions with us, and we'll help you with your data foundations and AI foundations layer. And yeah, that is the wrap. Thank you so much for everyone who attended and stuck with us today. Thank you for all the questions, and thank you for all the poll responses that you guys gave. Thank you for all the energy in the chat today. It was a really good room, and I really enjoyed this. So yeah, there you go. Go build that data foundation, guys. And yeah, we will see you next time. Take care. Have a nice day.